if you'll allow me to butcher a quote from a great American songwriter, Tom Hambridge. It's been 3 long weeks and I ain't hit the brakes yet. November 21 started for me in Las Vegas at the SEMA show. Then I dropped into Ocala, Florida on a red-eye flight for the Mopars with the Big Daddy show. I then hitched a ride back to Louisiana with my road crew to get what I had written on the road into print at the office. Then it was back on a plane to the great state of Florida for the FMA's Sunshine Mopar show. I made it back home just long enough to put some finishing touches on the magazine that's probably in your mailbox this month. And then I was on another jet airliner bound for the big year-end blowout show at MCACN in Chicago, Illinois. This is Robert Wolf reporting from the center of the Mopar world for the 3rd weekend in November of 2021, the MCACN show in Rosemont, Illinois. For those of you who don't know about the MCACN show, let me just say it's grown into the hands-down biggest, most comprehensive muscle car show on the planet. With that being said, this is not a show that is make-specific, or for that matter, even muscle car-specific any longer. While the muscle cars are the main focus, MCACN has grown into a showcase of everything that is the muscle car era. The main focus is, of course, the muscle cars, but there are also trucks, as well as many other things from that time period to see. What I mean by that is alongside the cool muscle cars, you'll find mini bikes, motorcycles, snowmobiles, bicycles, and many other collectibles from the muscle car era. If you grew up in the 60s and 70s, this show is a walk through memory lane. And for those that didn't, it's a look through the looking glass into a bygone era. Because this show is operated indoors, space is at a premium, so each display item and vehicle is there by invitation. This guarantees what you see here is the best of the best. Before I get into this any further, let me give you some history about how this MCACN show came to be. Detroit native Bob Aston was working for Championship Auto. They're most notably known as the guys responsible for the World of Wheels shows. Back in the mid-2000s, Bob got asked to manage their spring and fall Corvette Fest. Upon taking over these shows, Bob quickly realized it would make more business sense to only hold one vet show and turn the second one into a muscle car show. He presented that concept to Championship and worked forward. Unfortunately, in 2009, the U.S. economy was in shambles, and Championship laid Bob off early in the year before he could get the muscle car show off the ground. Bob immediately began reaching out to the guys who had supported the Vet Fest, letting them know he was no longer going to be running it. When he got to Stefano Bimby, the owner of the legendary Nicky Chevrolet muscle car brand, Stefano told Bob to put his life on hold for 24 hours and then proceeded to call up a gaggle of his well-heeled, like-minded friends and put together a contingent of guys who would become the MCACN show owners. Those owners are as follows: Stefano Bimby, Colin Comer, Mike Garise, Charlie Lillard, Tony Lucas, Bill Sefton, and Steve Schauger. Bob Aston would ultimately answer to these new owners and be given a carte blanche to begin building the world's ultimate muscle car show. After Championship failed to write a contract for the November 2009 Vet Fest at its longtime Rosemont, Illinois Convention Center location, Bob quickly grabbed the weekend and the location for this new muscle car show. So in November of 2009, MCACN was held for the first time, and I must say, to rave reviews. So now the only question I had was why this thing was called MCACN. The answer to that strange name comes because Bob's first big sponsor for the show was Bill Stacy Chevrolet, who had also been the sponsor of the Vet Fest. He would support the new muscle car show if the word Corvette would remain in the show's name. So MCACN is actually an acronym for Muscle Cars and Corvette Nationals. Unfortunately, the COVID lockdowns of 2020 would knock MCACN out for that year and kill all of the 1970 50th anniversary celebrations that were planned. That meant for 2021, MCACN would have to be a combo 1970 and 1971 50th-ish celebration. Despite MCACN being a multi-make car show, because of its invitation-only policy, the mix of GM, Ford, AMC, and Mopar hardware is pretty equal. What is not equal is the rarity and quality of the hand-picked cars on hand here. Many of the world's top collectors choose MCACN to debut their most recently restored rare muscle cars. Add to that this is a full-time gig for Bob. He spends the whole year traveling to shows to invite the best of the best. So even if you're a Mopar-only fan, one could argue that you will get to see more rare, significant Mopars here than any other one Mopar-only show. And that's precisely why I'm here this weekend, to search out the best of the best Mopars for Mopar Collector's Guide readers. 2021 seemed Mopar strong, I think because of the special AER CUDA and TA Challenger display, which featured 19 of these cars in almost every different color combo. One of the other jewels of MCACN is the Barn Find display, curated each year by Mr. Barn Find himself, Ryan Brute. As far as the most significant Mopar of the event, my pick would have to go to the Rod Shop D5 Hemi Pro Stocker that forced the NHRA to rewrite the rulebook back in the day. With a lot of help from his friend, Steve Atwell gathered parts to bring this experimental Hemi power plant back to life again for this show. As for best modern motivated Mopars, this dual-turbo, new-gen Hemi-powered bespoke 1969 Charger built by Mike Staveski's crew was my pick. All right, here with Mike Staveski with the latest build that he's done. Your customer here, what's his name?
Ken Schuler.
Ken Schuler. What made you decide to go for this Charger build?
Met Mike in January of 20 when I bought one of his Corvettes at Barrett Jackson. And went out to talk to him, and he asked what else I was looking for, and I said I always wanted a 68 or a 69 Charger. So.
Oh, good to see you upgrading. So tell me about this one, Mike. It's
all right. We are launching a new line with the Mr. Norms. We're going to do 12 classic car builds. So we're going to number each of them. So this is number 1 of 12. And we're just going to build them to how the customers would like them. Try to carry on Norm's legacy now that he has departed us, and working with Larry Weiner quite closely with it. And we just want to keep the Mr. Norm legacy going.
So this one in particular is a dual turbocharged new gen Hemi. What size Hemi is it?
It is a 6.4 out of a 2013 SRT, and it's been bored 10 over, has all forged bottom end, has twin precision mirrored turbos, 6266s. The combination's probably capable of about 1200, but we're going to dial it back so it's manageable and drivable at about 750 for Ken.
Who chose the color?
The color?
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
Mike talked me into brown.
I talked him into brown. He was not wanting to do brown.
Well, I'll tell you what, the interior with the brown is stunning.
Yeah.
That is stunning.
You.
So you guys did the interior in-house?
We did.
That's
did
all leather?
It is all leather.
Beautiful piece. Great car. While it was an excruciating hard choice, in my opinion, the Mopar Best of Show went to this 1 of 2 built Shaker 440 Challenger.
This is a 1970 Challenger 444 barrel shaker car, super track pack, triple black. It's the only car with a shaker 444 barrel with a 4-speed. There's only one other car that has automatic.
This thing is insane. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for this unbelievable black Challenger. I love the silver shaker and the white RT stripe. How long have you had this car?
Well, the car actually found me. In 1970, I bought a brand new 70 Challenger, but I ordered a shaker, and it didn't come with a shaker. A lot of people know we had problems. So it's been bugging me my whole life. So finally I put an ad up that I wanted a shaker car, and everybody kind of was laughing at me. So one day I get a phone call from a guy out in Oregon, and he says, I got a shaker for you. I says, no, you're scamming me. I'm from New York. I thought it was a scam. So he calls, we're talking. I said, well, send me pictures. He says, well, I'm in Washington. I says, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And he says, no, I'm in Washington State. So he sent me pictures. I told him I'd let him know. And that night I looked at the pictures and said, I'm going to buy the car. And I bought the car. And 50 years later, I've got my shaker car.
That is outstanding. And it makes me think, so a couple of weeks ago I was in Las Vegas working at the SEMA show and doing an interview with Chip Foose. And Foose has a saying that he uses that I had to take issue with. And he says he's obviously grateful for his customers. He said, because, you know, nobody really needs this stuff, right? It's not like food or, you know, something important. And I reminded Chip that there are gentlemen like you and gentlemen like me that have these cars in our brain all the time. This car has been bothering you for 50 years. I think you need it.
Yeah, thank you. I want to thank, Mike Mancini and all the guys at the shop at Rhode Island. It was a joint venture, and without them, it would have never came to be.
For sure. Mike, why don't you come on over for a sec, and we'll learn a little bit about the restoration. Bob, real fast, what's your favorite part of this car? I know it's probably the shaker.
Well, it's the shaker and a super track pack, which I had ordered back in the 70s, was a super track pack. The guy at the dealer was looking at me like, what, am I crazy? And I drove that car in New York, in the snow, with a 4-speed and a 410 Dana.
If you like what you see here, be sure to check out the April 2022 issue of Mopar Collector's Guide magazine. It will feature in-depth stories on these and many more Mopars that we discovered at the MCACN show this year. If you like this video, please smash the like button, and to make sure you don't miss any of my Mopar videos to come, hit the subscribe to Mopar TV button. It's absolutely free. This has been Robert Wolf reporting from the center of the Mopar world, and until next month, I'll see you on the pages of MCG.